IBX Toycat, and welcome back to another live stream on the internet. This is SkyGloo, a series that I have currently been working on where I am surviving, you might guess it, it's an igloo in the sky, where I don't go below Y200, and yeah, I actually haven't played this since the 21st of July. That means it's been 2 full weeks now, but we're going to get back into the full swing of things. It's been a very busy couple of weeks of RL Craft, but yeah, this is one of my favourite challenges, and one that I have been working hardest on, because my aim is, as you might rightfully expect, to get this guy to give me slime balls. In the absence of slime balls from your boy over here, my plan is to, well, obviously grow some cactuses. I also want to get my hands on some pumpkins so I can get infinite snow, but I need lots of things from this guy. If I don't get them, I'm going on a journey that leads me 2,000 blocks that way, and given that I've already gone 2,000 blocks the wrong way, I would love not to have to do it again. Ooh, my pale oak tree grew. So hello everyone, how's it going? Welcome to SkyGloo. If you want to catch up on the first 108 days, I've got a video I linked down below. This is one of the things I'm trying, like as the, you know, like to make stream economics make sense, you know, in terms of just, you know, like I think it's like worth trying a lot of things on the internet to see what it is that sticks, because the internet is a fragile and fickle place, and I think one of the things that might be useful, outside of saying, hey, becoming a member is great, would be saying, hey, if you want to learn about this series, video down below, and maybe if you watch it, it'll encourage the algorithm to feed it to other people. I don't, you know, anyone who claims they understand how the algorithm works is just vibing, you know. It's like saying how you know how God works. By the way, I have to give a quick explanation that yes, this is a very serious challenge stream, but it is one that takes place over hundreds of days, and so if we end up talking about, you know, religion or you know, what I had for lunch today, you're going to be excited, chat. But if we go into those things, it is technically relevant in its own way. So just keep that in mind. So yeah, I do have to regularly right now come through and remove the snow from places. Something that is a bit of a shame to me, because this is my big igloo base. And while I hope for a good wandering trader, because chat, I don't want to go hundreds of blocks out that way if I can avoid it. So I'm going to spend a few days today making my base better, and crucially, also at the same time, making it a bit more like an igloo. My base started with this floating igloo in the sky up here. Also, yes, what grown-ups learn is you tell stories to sound right. Exactly. So I started with a big igloo that was in the sky here, and I've slowly converted the basement not just into an igloo, I guess we could say, but in fact a giant one. This was the original, you know, villager slash zombie villager, and although one of them, we had some issues since then, let's just say, the result in this guy being how he is. Yeah, we've had some issues, to be polite. What we do have now also is kind of a place that doesn't look that much like the inside of an igloo basement. This looks pretty convincing, pretty good I would say, but the rest of it doesn't really look that igloo-y, which is something I want to fix today. So first things first, chat, you know, I hate to say this, but this wandering trader is delightful with his pink dye and his pale moss blocks, but I think I can get pale moss blocks in other ways, and if I couldn't, I could just buy these from him. And then, let's be honest, maybe I should get a fern as well. Do you think I'll need a fern, chat? I don't know enough about whether I would need a fern or not, but once we're done with him, his existence simply stops other wandering traders from spawning. Obviously on Bedrock, there's a bug that prevents that from being true, but you can't have multiple wandering traders at the same time, and so even though there's been a lot of accidents that were self-caused, this one might have to be caused by me. You know, let's just pretend that I am a senior Russian politician, the most senior, and he has said some things that go against what I believe in, because, oh, wow, terrible what's happened to you over there. Oh, actually, we could try and get the milk bottle. There we go, let's go for it. Yeah, milk, chat. That would be so much more useful in any of my other challenge runs, but I'll appreciate the vote of confidence for now. Anyway, let's put away some items. I've got a lot of them, and they're not all very useful. And then, should I put the fern away too? And then once we've done that, I'm going to trade away my boats. Every day, I can get a bunch of emeralds from this man by turning spruce logs into spruce boats. It's a pretty good living if we can make it. So spruce boats time. Why am I making barrels? I don't know what's wrong with me. So I'm meant to make some of these, put the barrels on the ground, sell them to your guy. Now, what do you know? Look at that. We're able to get experience and get emeralds, which will be very, very useful in the future. And yeah, we can kind of work on our home life today. which is a weird thing to think about, that in this series, a lot of what we have to do involves trips, but today I'm specifically going to push those trips off. Anyway, hello everyone, how's it going? Hi internet, hello, hello Shake, hello Dylan McGregor, hello supporter of Hippos, I saw Adam Sony in here earlier, I see Jeff, I see Scoopsky Cat and Chilius Bean. How are you all doing today? Oh Jeff, you're ranked #1 today. Did you know, chat, there's a new ranking system on YouTube? I don't know if you do know, but if you didn't, now you do. By the way, yeah, we're going to use these snow blocks for making these little pathways, but then also, crucially, we can use them to stop a lot of this snow falling down into our space right over here, which would be great. Like, literally, we can put a snow block right over there, and then this is twofold useful. One, it stops snow getting in, and two, it means if I do happen to fall over there, I won't fall to my death. Which is just something I worry about a lot. Ever since I did it for a little bit in a Q&A Saturday, I've realized, like, oh, I'm just very, very vulnerable to this. So are you going to the jungle today? Says Lizard Wizard. My goal is to get a slime ball today. If we go, you know, if we go a long way in, let's be honest, if I get impatient, we're going to the jungle. But I know in my heart that eventually the jungle will come here. And so that's what I am actually hoping for. I'm hoping the jungle comes to me, despite the absurdity and what that sounds like. Anyway, so I've got myself this stack of grass. I'm going to... Oh yeah, so my inventory is fully set up for a journey away, which is very useful most of the time, just not today. Put the milk bucket away, put some sticks away even, like, you know, what are these doing on me? And yeah, we're just really trying to maximize our boat production so we can get more emeralds, so we can have more emeralds. So if we get a wandering trader, we don't have to waste anything in it. So here's a bunch of boats. Would you like to trade for them? I bet you will. Toy Cat Philosophy School is heavily utilitarian, says B Stoner. That's a really good point. Also, this is what a vegan thinks happens when you get a cup of milk. You know, very, very true, Adam. You know, I saw Adam Sonny. You jumped in the stream and you said earlier you had to wake up to do important adult things. And I think there's I think you know, as far as utilitarianism philosophy goes, I think there's a really interesting link in that when you're not doing stuff, you know, at least this is my view of the world. When you're not doing stuff, it feels like the worst torture in the world would be to have something you absolutely had to do. You know, the worst torture in the world that I can imagine as someone who's like, I don't know, like I feel I'm not a late riser, but I am like well, I guess I am a late. I think like naturally all my best, like, if we're talking about creative work, all my best ideas come to me at night. So the idea of either having to be up late at night and ruin my sleep, or not getting important things done and feeling like I've messed up, it's like a hard compromise to deal with, right? Also, censorship is a hell of a drug, says B Stoner. So censorship is a heavily, you know, if you want to call me a utilitarian, right? You know, call me that slur in this chat. Really, censorship is quite utilist. Like the value of censorship is quite high. Propaganda is something that, like, you know, it's funny because propaganda is used in like lots of political circles today to be like, that's bad. But actually, like, the first time I learned, and probably you learned about propaganda, was probably during a situation where it was, you know, vaguely justifiable. I think famously during World War II, you know, like maybe this is famous, maybe it's not, but the British really didn't need to be involved. We were like, basically, we got involved for like semi-moral reasons. And, you know, like getting involved in a big war that you don't need to be involved in. You know, like it was like Iraq-level protests, but like, you know, even worse, because these are closer by people that we were killing. And so one of the easiest ways to, like, you know, make that better was to be like, but it's going so well. If people knew how poor the war was going, maybe they'd have been more inclined to not go along with that. By the way, yeah, I have to now make this pathway go really far another way. I'm thinking of having it go past my house, chat, just so it's like one consistent path. If there's anything I know about road design, that's how we should do it. But what I'm also thinking is we do have access to a bunch of ice. Maybe I could make an ice pathway and actually utilize some of these boats. I started with my ice path. Why don't we just make our ice farm, which is not up there, it's down here, a little bit bigger and take full advantage. I've got a silk touch pickaxe It can last for 6,000 uses. Let's get some ice, and let's make an ice pathway, as dangerous as that sounds on the surface. So let's just go out and do this. And once we do, it'll make a bunch of water, which can be turned into more stuff. So, yeah, I do have to be very careful about... so I'll place down an ice block here. And when we break that, and then we break this one, we now have actual full solid water. But I think we're going to need a lot more ice sheet here, and a lot more spaces for it to grow. But then that means instead of having to make a regular pathway out that way, I could make an ice pathway. I think that's a really fun idea, actually. Yeah, I think that's how we're going to do it. It's not going to go from my base. It's going to go from over here. But hear this out as an idea, chat. I meant censorship can be useful and makes you feel great, but it usually crashes into an overdose. I think that I think self-censorship is one of the most important tools in the world. The worst thing that ever happened to me is to make my 3-year-old pancakes in the morning. Great observation, Toy Cat. Oh yeah, right. Like, I'm sure when you had to wake up in the morning, you were like, you know, it'd be great if I didn't have to do this one. You know what would be great is like this, but not. That if I could pick that as an option right now, I would be willing to do it. But like, you know, like, even though it's the worst thing in the world to someone who does not have the obligation, I feel like most people feel like, not obligations, but a sense of purpose fulfills them. And a sense of purpose comes with an obligation. You know, like, I think this is a tricky one to properly describe. Because, you know, like, one of the trickiest things about speech is conveying, like, complicated ideas in, like, you know, what might as well be, like, you know, like hieroglyphics. Like, just trying to take a really complex idea and turning it into words. Really, really, really complicated, as it turns out. And so if I'm trying to describe, like, oh yeah, one of the things that people find the most value in life is responsibility. That's the word I'm looking for. Not obligation, responsibility. People love responsibility in general, but also, if you don't want responsibility, it is the worst thing in the world. But a lot of people find that taking on responsibility is what provides them a meaning. It's like, I don't know, like, imagine that most things in life you want to do, and doing them makes you feel worse in the long run. Because I guess our brains had to be wired around, like, how do we keep this thing alive? I was reading recently, I don't know where I read this, chat. I just have to assume it was some Reddit post, so just don't take this as fact. But I read somewhere recently, and it, like, he really struck a chord in me, that, like, when you drink water, your body doesn't process that into, you know, like, actually usable. Also, I got a cactus flower. That's nice. But your body doesn't process, so I should just break the entire thing. And then that way I won't lose the cactus flower, which is good, which is what I want. Anyway, so, okay, so we're gonna sell our things just to make some inventory spots. Please give me some inventory slots. I am choking to death on my own inventory right here. It's terrible. I'll put away some garbage for now. Sometimes I can give you these thoughts boiling your head, and you're waiting for someone to say something that allows you to talk about it without being weird. No, I want to talk about. I think you could broadly describe maybe any streamer, but particularly my style of streaming, as like, here are things that come to me all day, every day, that I know I should not say. But here is a space where I hope that people want to listen, or maybe they don't want to listen. But guess what? I can force them to listen. Because that's how this works, I think. So yeah, the very top of the igloo actually isn't meant to be there. Except it sort of is, right? The top of the igloo should be on the sides here, going along this. So there's going to be some top of the igloo here. Although to make sure it actually goes correctly, we'll place it on the side there. So there's meant to be a bunch of top of igloo here. By just placing some strips of this, we'll prevent snow formation, which is good. And also just make the place look a little bit more Christmassy, which is important. But yeah, so chat, I'm going to make a big ice pathway from there, going all the way out to a jungle. Somewhere over there. I mean, it has to be over there. If I didn't find it going that way, I'll definitely find it going this way. We haven't traveled this way at all, which is fun. But it means I need to make a bunch of ice, which means this snow thing is just kind of a secondary, silly project. Which is great to have secondary, silly projects, but still. Also, I need to get more pale oak saplings, or I am ruined, so I have to be very careful about this. It's lots of subtasks today, chat, which is fun in its own way. I could make it one big task of go to the jungle, but I'm thinking I'm going to need to go along there again later anyway, so I'm just kind of preparing for that future outcome anyway. I've been trying to enjoy the update for Toykat's Toolkit, but it hasn't been working. It's not out yet, Lisa Deck. There is a really long cert time on updates. So an update we released in June for Boss Blitz is only mostly finished in certification right now. It's not currently available. And so the update we just released might not be out till September. It might not be out till October if things go really disastrously. Yeah, very, very... it's something that speeds up and slows down a lot of Mojang. Like, the marketplace... you know, I worry I'm speaking too much on this because there's a lot of... Somewhere in there are NDAs that you got to be cautious of, but no one quite knows what is covered by them at any point in time. But I think I can say, I'm fairly sure I can say, that the amount of people that Mojang has hired for the marketplace is quite a variable thing. And it causes, like, all sorts of problems as it goes up and down. Anyway, so let's now make some more fences. I don't know if I need spruce. Yeah, I need spruce fences, oak slabs. So we'll make a bunch of spruce fences. I don't have many sticks, so we'll have to make some sticks first. Then we'll make, like, literally, like, 21 of them seems good. Then we'll make a bunch of oak slabs, and we'll turn it into a bunch of good things. Then we'll also pre-make our boats for tomorrow. Just make 5 of them. Just so we're doing something good. And then, actually, wait, we can sell some of those boats today, though, right? It doesn't matter if we sell all of the boats possible, because he just immediately resets anyway. So, yeah, I think 2 of my friends as a team were no responsibility people. Both of them are no longer alive, sadly. Responsibility breeds purpose and meaning, Imo. Hopey16, so first of all, thank you for your comment. It's very thoughtful and also very tragic. I'm sorry to hear about your friends who didn't make it. Yeah, I think that your thoughts on responsibility breeding purpose are really, really true. And I think that purpose, and you know, a lot of people are thinking, I mean, like, mentally, like, it's like how going to the gym is good physically, but, you know, really it's kind of good mentally. But I think it's, like, genuinely, I would say this, that having, like, responsibility in the world makes, like, you know, like, I say this a lot, but some people get sick and they're like, that's 3 weeks of my life gone. I had a cold and now I can't go out to this social obligation. Or, you know, maybe for some of those people, they didn't want to do the social obligation. But I'm amazed by, like, how different some people can be on that. Whereas some people, it's like, oh yeah, unless I'm literally in a hospital bed, you know, if I say I'm going to be there, I'm going to be there. I've always, like, aspired to be the latter group. You know, personally, that's just the way I see things. But yeah, I think having a sense like that is something that is a difference between if you believe that you know, if you believe that you are only there for you, your own needs are kind of fickle and ever changing. Like, what do I want in the world right now? Is what I want in the most in the world right now to talk about, you know, the idea of meaning and purpose? Is what I want most in the world right now to mine a bunch of ice, you know? Or is what I want in the world most right now to, like, you know, cut off the stream, go buy a lobster roll, and, you know, play Donkey Kong Bonanza on my sofa? You know, it's kind of, or actually, I think I've been a bit, I kind of go back and forth between whether I use games or TV as my, like, relax mode. I've been watching a bit of Orphan Black recently. It's one of those, like, I think thriller might be the description. But, like, there's always some big twist happening, and, like, those big twists feed the dopamine in my brain. And so, like, is that what I actually want? Maybe. So, oh, we actually used planks for this, not slabs. So I made all these slabs, but it was really silly of me to make all these slabs. I guess I shouldn't have made all those slabs. That's the lesson I'm learning. So what we're going to do is we're going to make this whole thing wider. I don't know if I want to make it deeper yet, but I definitely do want to make it wider. And then once we do that, we'll replace the fences. Also, yay, new stream, says Brandy Lewis. Good to see you, Brandy Lewis. I'm glad you're feeling good about it. Also, Scoopsy Cat says, do you think you'll ever make another UHS map? So, making Minecraft maps is not profitable. That's why I can't show you the marketplace. I can show you add-ons. But that's why the button here says browse add-ons, not browse marketplace. I think Minecraft naturally realized that there are a lot more people who are interested in buying add-ons than buying, let's say, other things. But it also is true for the general consumer that, like, the average person doesn't buy marketplace maps very often, but they do buy a whole bunch of, you know, marketplace other stuff, let's say. Add-ons and dynamic worlds. And so will I ever make one of those? I think, yeah. I think I still am really passionate about the idea. Literally, I think the thing that gives me, like, excitement, you know, like, a lot of people get excited when they're like, ooh, this new copper torch will allow me to farm my Schmeagles 17% more effective than before. Now I will have 88 Schmeagles an hour rather than 7 Schmeagles an hour. But for me, the thing that, you know, gets me excited is, like, how Minecraft, how you can use a feature to make it even more difficult than it was before. And so, okay, now we're gonna make all of these around here. And then we'll have to make a bunch of fences hanging off the edge there. So that should be easy enough to do from here. And then we can even remove that fence right now. And we'll just move all the fences along the back row. I probably need more ice than even this. But since while I'm working on it, I'll get more ice, that makes me feel at least somewhat good. So let's just make sure there's no way for me to fall off no matter what happens here. I want to mine the ice, but I'm also terrified of being accidentally nudged off the top, or a skeleton comes in and ruins all my days. It's just, you know, these are fears you should think about. Okay, so organization is something I struggle with personally. So yeah, you could describe your conflicting collection of forts. Also, no, there's water going off the edge. I mean, it's not a big problem or anything. I just, you know, it's not what I want. I think conflicting forts is very, very, very normal. But it is one of the complexities. So I forgot why I started that train of thought. I'm sure it was relevant at one point. But yeah, I think, no, the point was to say that my own needs, like, keeping up with your own needs is actually kind of complicated to the point where genuinely, you know, especially in depressed people, you just kind of stop. You just kind of go like, yeah, I'll deal with something when it becomes really important. Because if you deal with every single desire you have, you know, I have a desire to, I have quite a strong desire, actually. Okay, so let's place this over here. I have quite a strong desire sometimes to just be like, let me just, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stream Digimon World 2003 for 4 hours. I mentioned this years ago. It was like one of the reasons I started YouTube, as I was like, look, if I ever got popular on the platform, then some number of people would come and watch me play Digimon World 2003. That was like my end goal, you know, like a lot of people nowadays people think like, oh, I'll become famous and I'll become a musician and then I can go on tour and you know, like that's like the modern, if you got into YouTube, having seen YouTubers be, you know, borderline rock stars or whatever you want to call them all your life. But you know, for me it was like, yeah, people will be watching me play Digimon World 2003 and they'll be like, well, you know what? It's a weird game, but I guess if he's into it, maybe I'll watch it too. Which I guess you could argue is like even weirder than all those other desires. You know, like, becoming a... Well, so I think the water can just sit here, and it's actually no problem. Yeah, weirdly enough. I could just leave the water there, and it doesn't seem like it's going to cause any issues. So now we can remove this entire fence wall, and I've basically just upped my supply of these. And then if I just place ice blocks here... Okay, no. Okay, don't go. So now if I just place some extra fence blocks, I'll... Okay, so this is very dangerous with all this water here. I don't really love it. Oh, and it's snowing. Okay, so I'm just going to place some extra wood blocks here. These are the ice block potentials. Then I'll place some fences that go around here. So simply by having this around the around the edge, which will of course put the relevant torches on soon. Ooh, I'm so spooked I'm going to do something wrong, chat. I don't know why. But yeah. Also, hi Toycat. I've been watching and enjoying the RL Craft series recordings since I missed them live, but I'm glad to be back in the sky. Hey, me too. It's been a couple of weeks. It's one of those series where like every couple days I think like, should I play it today? And you know, realistically, this is, you know, kind of a me series. You know, it's a more minor version of the Digimon World 2003 problem, where it's like, yes, I will sit in my igloo in the sky. And then people will watch me from my igloo in the sky, and they will say, this is weird. But what can they do? Anyway, yeah, I basically, okay, so let's place, we're using ice as our way to place water in the sky, which is actually, this is one of the few places where I think it is surprisingly effective. And then we'll just jump out over here, place probably a few more torches, especially one here, but maybe also one like over here. And we obviously are going to need to place one on the side. No, we need to place ones on this side, I think. We clearly need more torches. Like one over there might be good. But once we've done that, that should remove most of the worst. And now our ice farm is in full swing in an even better way, which is just great. I do have this annoying snow problem that is going to crop up everywhere occasionally. Not a lot I can do about it besides go to sleep when it's possible. Or maybe place more oak in the sky. But still. Yeah, I think we need more responsibility. If you only did what you wanted, satisfying yourself, it becomes less fun. Yeah, I think there is a weird art to finding what you enjoy, but also what someone else enjoys in what you enjoy. Which I would also say is actually what describes what being a YouTuber is. If you do only what you enjoy, you make weird content. I'll be honest with you. If you do only what your audience enjoys, you make those weird videos that that end up on the you make some weird videos that people end up doing some you end up raising a generation of children in a questionable way. Maybe we could say brain rot to be the politest we can about it. But let's just say it's not just, it's a lot worse than just the word brain rot. Anyway, powerful dictator unable to stop us from watching Igloo Land. Yeah, like maybe that's what I really want in the world. I want the power of a dictator, but like I know that dictators harm people, so I want it on a really, really small scale. I want to come up with absurd Minecraft things that no one in their right mind would request, and then force people to watch it. But more seriously, there is, like, good content creation, good content creators. The actual thing you have to do is you have to balance what it is that you want to see with what it is that the broader, not just my audience and the fact that people who subscribe to me, people who don't subscribe, people but watch my content, but specifically also people who watch Minecraft but have not watched my videos yet. Because, you know, there is an impetus on this platform to, if you don't have new subscribers, the old ones die, sometimes literally, and you know, you gotta work around that too. It's a lot of different steps, but I think there is genuinely a joy in like managing your obligation to the world while also dealing with yourself, or at least if it's not joy, might not even be the word, but it is fulfilling in its own unique way, and I think that that is something that is very, very hard to like instill. Also, someone in chat said something about your 30s, but I missed it. If you want to repeat it, I'd love to hear it. By the way, yeah, now we've got double as much water that we can turn into ice. And as long as we don't mess things up hugely, that should mean that we now can get a bunch more ice, which makes our ice pathway a lot longer. In fact, should we start making that ice pathway just to see how long we get with what we have? I think we should. If that's my most important goal today, I think understanding the scale of the problem will help me understand the scale of how big, you know, this house build actually needs to be. So, let's make some more boats, just so I've got them around. I'll sell them around. I'll sell them to the guy till I hit the max, and then we'll just bring out all of the ice. So packed ice isn't that useful right now. It's great that I have it, but I'm not going to use it. Instead, I'm just going to place 100. Okay, I don't know how to check my controller battery. I'll press the middle button. Okay, it looks like it's mostly full. So I'm really, really scared about playing SkyGloo if I don't know my controllers aren't fine. Because before a controller disconnects on Windows, it does like a little spinny round and it might drop me off. Again, it would suck to lose this series for such a dumb thing. This is real hardcore, chat. It's not even hardcore-ish. So I've done easy-core before in my Caveman series. I've done hard-ish semi-core in my Super Flat series. But this is full hardcore. And if I'm not mistaken, at 148 days, it's the longest I've lasted. But it means that I have to be very careful about how much longer I last. It also means I should consider, like, actually putting guardrails on this. I want Void Flatcore 2 as more than a short. Oh, have you seen how well that short is doing, anyone? So I do want to play Void Flatcore. I mean, we can now, right? Oh, my brain has, like, totally skipped over the fact that the update has released. Like, I'm playing 1.21.100. We could, you know, see, this is an example, right? With no obligation. Right now, I was like, I could just start playing Void Flat right now, right here, if I wanted to. It's not impossible. But yeah, I'm not going to. I could, and I want to, but I'm gonna make my decision not just based on my own desires to myself, but on my obligation to this stream, which is hopefully, you know, people like John of the Dad, they were very vocal about it. They're part of the 1% that comment. Thank you very much. But there's also a bunch of people, hopefully like them, who want to see SkyGloo, and who might be a bit disappointed if, like, midway through SkyGloo I go, oh, what if we did something entirely else? By the way, here's what my igloo looks like from the back. It's a little bit messy. It could do some work. But it's getting there, right, chat? Do you see how this is a mini version of that? Like, it even looks destroyed in the same way. It's fun. It's very fun. Anyway, in your 30s, you can become injured while sleeping. Very, very true. I know Chantal's here. She's always here. Yeah, Chantal's really good at, like, moderating. Like, she's not always, like, chatting about it. But she's always moderating. Unless she's asleep. You know, time zones or something. Can someone see my comments, says Tyler? I can see your comment. When's your new video coming out? Tonight. I can never say the time on, like, it's tonight. Sooner rather than later, I would hope. Okay, so we're gonna ride a boat along this now, chat. Okay, so this is the closest, this is the riskiest thing we've done in a while. But I just want to see how fast. Okay, okay. So this is definitely much faster than walking. I'm a little spooked now. Like, what if I do get out and it puts me below Y200? Oh, it's saying, okay, chat, we found a bug. Look, I'm in the boat above Y200, but my Y coordinate's at 199. So if the challenge description was going below Y200 is a fail, over chat. But as you know, the way we actually define it is, do we gain advantage from being below Y200? Like, seriously, this is Y200. This is Y200. This is Y200 here. But when you're in the boat, you go below the ice. So we technically should. This is an annoying thing to learn after the fact. But just so, like, you know, there's going to be... I think just because we are... the only measurement system we have is a broken one, we should therefore build our ice path around that broken measurement system. And I think that means we place ice on top of this ice. Minecraft measures Y level by head level. Oh, is that true? Is my head being above Y... Are my feet technically at Y 199 and my head is just at 200? I always get that one messed up when it comes to commands. So I think you probably are right on that, Lorenz. Good to see you, by the way, Lorenz. Man, that's a long time username. Assuming you're Lorenz0, the first one. Also, move the ice path a block above. Yeah, I think that's what I have to do, therefore. But yeah, I'm using the Y coordinate in game because it's a lot simpler than saying, okay, if we keep that at Y201, technically that means my path is at Y199.5. But again, it's all fine. So that means, yeah, we have to now basically scrap all the ice we've mined or placed and just place a second one on top of it. It'll look weird, but it's still worth doing. Challenge failed, it's over. Okay, it's over, everyone. Let's go play Void Flat. But no, right, like, you know, even as a dictator here, right? This stream does function under dictatorial rules. That is to say, like, oh, democracy. No, I don't have to follow your democracy. I remember watching you like 6 years ago. I didn't even know you still played. Happy to see you still going. Hey, Cinco's GD. Thank you very much. Yeah, my goal has always been to make this sustainable and work long term, which is a hard goal on the internet. You know, it's one of the least long-term industries. I was thinking recently about, like, if you want to work in social media, like, you know, the people who run the Wendy's accounts or whatever, whoever was running the Wendy's account in 2018 or 19 when it went viral, that knowledge is worthless now. The knowledge required to become a viral brand in what would that be? Like, 7 years ago, It just has zero bearing on them right now. Like, imagine going to school to become an electrician, and in the years after you became an electrician, it's like, oh yeah, the rules of electric has changed now. If you use those rules, you will kill people. That's what happened to that's what happens to social media people. It's a very, very tricky skill in that sense, I would say. Because, again, I think it is expected for most people that if you learn how to do something, you have learned how to do it. But the social internet, I would say anything that involves entertainment is always changing set of rules. I think eventually people work out frameworks for it. I think that's like surprisingly common that people work out. You know, like, I think that even though entertainment feels like it's something that always changes, actually there's like 3 things that'll entertain a human. You know, like the classic BBC one that is like stuck to this day is inform, educate, entertain. But like, even within you know, like I remember my teacher said to me, there's like 7 forms of fiction that everything can fit in. And if I haven't told the story before, I got her good when she was like, because she'd like ask the class for like, give me an example, I'll tell you how it's one of those 7 categories. And I was like, okay, well, what about an erotic book? And she was like, I think you're right, Andrew. I think that would be a different category. Which I like to believe is actually just her being like, okay, I need to deflect this as quickly as possible. You know, it's a classroom full of boys. But I still take that to this day as proving that, like, actually, even within the, like, when you try to simplify anything down too far, you actually end up, like, missing all the edge cases. And I think entertainment or social media or internet witchery, I think it's all edge cases. I think the entirety of what we do here is just edge case after edge case. Like, what could you use to... Why is it that, for example, this video would work better with a different thumbnail and title? If you asked anyone who is watching this stream, why are you watching it? You'd be like, oh yeah, because it's SkyGloo. You know, I like the challenge, etc. But yet, if you look at the analytics, you can see more people click on certain types of thumbnails. Like, people say clickbaity, but actually, like, if it's too clickbaity and everyone knows it's clickbaity, no one clicks it again. There's like there's a perfect level of clickbaitiness you actually need to reach. By the way, I think making some pale oak boats would be nice. I think they would fit my my SkyGloo a bit better, right? Like, if I'm gonna be boating around the place, I think a spruce boat doesn't make sense. But, you know, a nice pale oak boat, that makes a lot of sense, actually. Please add fences on the back corners of your ice sheets, otherwise the water could push you off. Oh, yeah. Technically speaking, you are right about that. It's funny to imagine. What were her 7 categories? I don't actually remember them. I think it's like a common literature thing, if you want to Google it. But, like, yeah, there's a... It's kind of a weird thing to really think about for too long. Sad, I only just joined as you failed the run, says Slola Purpoise. Yeah, I know, it's over now, right? So technically speaking, my Y coordinate showed as 199 for like a brief second while I was doing something to do with the fishing too. And again, I think that there are 2 ways you can treat this. One is you can say it's the plague, what's the point? The other one is to say, like, well, the point of the series is to see how far we can go. I should never intentionally go below 200, and if I do, any advantage that I gain should be removed. So imagine if I did somehow fall down and land in a water pit. I think it would be fine if I stacked up, could remove that stack, and then came back. You know, like, do you get what I'm saying? Like, in hardcore, the only true end is death. Any self-imposed rules, you've got to be... You know, it's kind of like if I broke the law and I stole a cat from the pet store, but only because the cat followed me home. I'm not going to be arrested for that one. And in the same way, when you judge your own crimes, you should still be objective. You shouldn't say, oh, well, I should be allowed to steal bread because I'm hungry. You'd be surprised at how many people, like, justify, like, look, I steal this thing because I want the thing and I don't want to pay for it. That's justifiable, you know, like, there's a reason we need courts and stuff. But, yeah, I think it's actually... so I want to get 4 more of these that I can just have sitting around. I think, actually, I'll just put these inside of my chest for now. I don't want pale oak right now. I definitely have enough of it. But it's fun that we have a collection of pale oak saplings here. Also, hey ho, says Ash. How's it going, Ash? Is things rendering? We had Lego Show TV asked, when is the video? And I would love to hear your answer. Also, we have to make sure we milk our bees. Because, of course, I need to get honey. I can get 2 honeys now, which is great. So, yeah, honey blocks are technically one of the few limiting factors. Even if I got a Wandering Trader right now, I would need a few more of these. I'm going to be very scared about the bees. I would need a few more of these before I could do anything with it. But it's still nice to be turning it into something. Not long away. Ah, it's good to hear. So, Lego Show TV, the answer is not long away. It's funny till he actually gets pushed off. It is very funny until I actually get pushed off. I agree with that exactly. By the way, good to see you, Xavier. How are you doing today? Agreed about stack up. Yeah, whereas if I fall on ice, game over, and also I went below Y200. But the point is, I'm not meant to get any advantage from being down there. And I also think that if I'm deliberately going down to get, like, that's advantage. Whereas accidentally doing something and gaining nothing from it, like, if you steal something from the store, you didn't know you stole the thing from the store, and you give back the thing the moment you do realize, and you can honestly say that to yourself, I think it's not theft, right? I think theft requires dishonest deprivation. And so we get to define, thankfully, the rules of engagement here. The point of this challenge is to survive without going below Y200. You could argue the rules of the challenge are so that you make a big death barrier at Y200. But if we can't see the death barrier and we accidentally step a foot over it and it doesn't kill us, well, should we deliberately make it kill us? You get to answer that for yourself. The video's done for the record. I'm not procrastinating. That's good to hear. That's very good to hear. Also, yeah, learning about how boat Y levels work is an advantage. That's so slow purpose. I like your thinking. I like your thinking a lot there. You could make a decent argument that we now have the deep advantage of learning how it is that boat Y levels work, which we can now use going forwards to avoid going below Y200. I mean, I guess, then the definition of advantage starts to really come up in a way that I think is going to be too broad for this. So, chat, what should I do with my emeralds now? I think I've gone through all of the main trade people that I want to. I think this guy is going to be expensive. I have to buy a lot of iron axes. But if I do, eventually he'll give me a diamond sword. Is now the time to get that diamond sword rolling? I think now might be that time. Okay, so because we're not going to sell these twin, and I definitely don't want to buy bells, I'm going to buy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 axes right there. And it's going to put me basically nowhere better than I was before. I'm going to put them all in this lovely chest, because this is the tool chest. And one day I can take full advantage of those. But yeah, I just bought 8 axes, and it got me that far through it. Oh my god, that is so dire, chat. Yeah, that's so dire. Literally, is it better value to buy these swords? Okay, chat, let's do the measuring here. So this is 1 bar and a bit, and this is 1/3 of a bar, I would say. So I think 11 for the sword is better. 1, 2. Oh, this hurts so bad to spend that many emeralds, sir. It's what we've got to do. It's what we've got to do. Today, it's one of those fun little side benefits off the grind, is how we have to see it. And also it prevents me from filling this chest up with axes. Though, let's be honest, I'm never going to use anyway. Okay, so speaking of getting things we're not going to use, I am slowly getting through my stone shovels here. And also we need to go back out to this place, because we've got a lot of ice that has magically appeared, and I intend to turn it into unmagical appear. So, Bedrock needs more achievements on Super Flat, says Jason Moore. It has no achievements on Super Flat. Oh, that was weird. Did you see that? I, swam up onto it. So, yeah, right now, technically speaking, I could be pushed off the edge. And again, it's funny to imagine, but it is a very real, serious problem that could happen. So, I'm going to put a block here. And I'm going to put a block over here. And now it would take some extra work to push me off. Hopefully not. Hopefully the game doesn't bother doing that extra work. I think a good life rule is always assume that if it takes extra work for something bad to happen to you, that no one's going to bother doing the extra work. This is a rule they don't teach you at school, but I'm going to teach you right now. So yeah, chat. I think self-censorship is a surprisingly important rule. Again, I'm a contrarian. I'll concede. Censorship is quite bad right now. The internet is being censored, and we are arguing that the reason it is okay to censor is because, you know, we love the kids so much. But trust us, not in that way. Okay, so we have to just build up from here. I'll start with a little like ice hub, like just enough that like nothing could go wrong. So place some blocks all the way over here, and then we just place more ice on top of this from before. Yeah, I guess that's maybe I should place it like one block to the right or to the left or something. Because then that's art or something, right, chat? Also, did you see that zombie? I'm a little concerned. It's a good reminder to get... Oh, also, I can't put torches on this ice. I think it's a transparent block that can't spawn mobs, but I should really quadruple check that. Hey, Toycat, I don't usually get to make it to the stream, says Aiden Vanderpelt. Also, Jura just remembered and said streamlabs.com/Toycat. Streamlabs.com/Toycat, indeed. That is where you can go. And if you want, you can tip and give your boy money to follow his dreams, but also your dreams at the same time. See, but right, there's a really messy... Should I put this directly on top? Chat, can you see? This is where I'm gonna ask for your opinion. See if it aligns with mine. I could see the argument of like, what if I had a second path going here? Wouldn't that look kind of cool to see them side by side, or like one over here? You know, wouldn't that look kind of cool? What's self-censoring? Keeping quiet when it's needed. I think self-censorship would be, you know, if we take censorship to mean like, you know, like to quiet, you know, to limit what someone can say, you know, to cut down on the what you might even call free speech, but like, you know, just the unlimited speech of someone else. I think that it's really important to sometimes, at the very least, I think everyone can agree that at least sometimes it is really, really, really important to know when it is that, first of all, you shouldn't say something, but also, more specifically, what it is you should and shouldn't say. I think one of my like favorite like goofy paradoxes on this one. I think it's like the I think it's called the Abraxine paradox. But there's a lot of like descriptions for this that like I think designed by committee is a common term for this. But a lot of people will you know, like censor themselves when talking to others to make their views seem better. There's like a lot of cases out there about like, oh yeah, so everyone all individually agreed this was good, but together everyone agrees that it sucks. By the way, okay, so why is the government parenting me? I'm 28. Lobster rolls are the dream, and government cares about the kids. They're just not releasing the list. Okay, so chat, what do you reckon? Should we go up at this layer here, or just build it directly above the previous one? I wanna do the equivalent of a poll, but using only chat, like only text. Also, Taylor Davis, good to see you. How are you doing, Taylor? Hope things are going good in the hood. But yeah, do you think I should go, I guess, chat, let's to the left or above? I just want you to say one of those two words, and we can collectively work out which of these makes more sense. Because I like the idea of going to the side there, but I also think that logically, this pathway being at -28 and following this one has some benefits. So I'll read out your comments on that one, and I can collectively decide based on that. So yeah, chat, I'm gonna try and finish the thought I had earlier, which was like, when you get because your body has so many impulses. The reason your body has so many impulses is because if you only discovered things were good for you as they were good for you, like, so take for example when you drink water. Drinking water is tasty. You immediately feel hydrated, even though your body can't actually do anything with that water for like a good little bit, right? Like you don't actually have the water doing anything valuable for you for a little bit. Yeah, I think that the reason your body has to make you think that something good has happened is because if you don't have that immediate feedback loop that, oh, I have drank water, therefore I'm hydrated, is you're less likely to drink water, and when you're dehydrated and you're feeling really rough, you won't know that drinking water is the solution, because even when you drink water, you won't feel better. So it needs to wire into you to immediately feel good from drinking said water, even though you haven't actually got the benefit yet, right? So as a result of that, we get a lot of impulses that like, oh, if you are going to be thirsty in 30 minutes, you should drink water now. That's the actual best way for your body to regulate you. And so it means that you're surrounded by like impulses all the time for things that are going to be true soon, or, you know, that might be true commonly. But what's weird is that, therefore, if you follow all of your impulses of what you want, I think you'll make your biological primitive, like, trying to, you know, improve your brain better, but you'll make your long-term happiness brain sad. And that's why I think that's one of the, like, big conflicts between your actively thinking brain, if we want to call it that, and your much more, you know, like your, I think you might call it like the id and the ego. You might call it your conscious, your subconscious. You might call it your instinct, your monkey brain, and your human brain. Whichever way you feel like describing it to yourself. There is a huge difference between how your thoughts and your feelings. That's it. That's the way I like to describe them. Your thoughts and your feelings. Your instinct and your primal instinct. Okay, monkey brain and human brain. We're just gonna say. So your monkey brain is like, ooh, me like drink water. Me like stimulation. Me want eat food. Me want put inside lady ape or whatever. While your more, you know, conscious brain, the one that has developed over all these years to actually allow societies to function and all this noise. Well, that brain's the one that's going to be like, you know, actually, is doing that right now actually a good idea? You know, like, that's the brain telling me, like, you know, Toycat, you'd have a lot of fun opening a void flat right now. I bet you would. But, like, really, you know, shouldn't you do this one? Or, you know, like, you know, really, wouldn't you also have fun? You know, like, maybe it babies you a little bit. It goes like, wouldn't you also have fun if you got some more ice? You're collecting ice right now. That's a big project. Don't you have to remind yourself to do that? I think a surprising amount of, like, your internal interactions probably are best viewed as a relationship between, like, a parent and a child. Because I do very, very strongly believe that a lot of, you know, again, like, a lot of the things that you want to do are not things that are good to do. And a lot of things that bring you, you know, like, real long-term enjoyment and happiness are in, like, creating an obligation. So, create an obligation from you to yourself. If you feel like your life is not as good as it could be, create an obligation to yourself to make it better. Or create an obligation in the outside world. Create a responsibility. Like, people get happy when they come up with all sorts of responsibilities. Okay, chat. I'm now going to read. Okay, we got right, left, down, right, left, above, left, right. Okay, a lot of people... You know, I took all of that to mean about 50-50, which means neither idea is worse or better than the other one, which means we're just going to build all of this here. But once we built all of that there, now we have to build... like a buffer block for myself to make sure that I don't get, you know, like, trapped and ruined. So I'll place a block there and a block there and a block here. Just to make sure, like, when the boat comes speeding this way, it works properly. And now I have to go out and place a bunch of ice blocks that literally just go on top of other ice blocks. There is no extra value being created here, chat. Can't stress that enough. I'm just putting blocks on blocks. And then the blocks will be on the blocks. That is the value of the blocks here. So I just started fishing IRL because I was inspired by, low-key inspired by fishing in Minecraft. So you ever fished in real life? It's oddly satisfying. I feel like it's one of those things you have to get your dad to get you into, right? I think the only things my dad has ever shown a passion in is, like, pizza making. Yeah, I think making pizza. Yeah. I'll have to ask what he... No, he loves models. He was born, like, 10 years too early for Warhammer. He had a whole room in his last house. You know, Could be a great, you know, kid's bedroom, but instead he used it for just for model airplanes. He loves a good model. So yeah, I feel like I think my friend who's really into fishing got it from his granddad because he didn't have a dad either. You know, I feel like there's a big epidemic of people not having dads. I mean, epidemic's the wrong word, but like it's definitely like it moved from like a niche choice to like, oh yeah, that's like it's pretty weird. It's pretty impressive if you can keep the father around, right? I'll check in when it's been a decade since I started watching Toy Cats. Says Slaughter Purpoise or Purpoise. You know what Purpoise? I don't know how to say it correctly. Also, I think that now that I think I can finally simplify this, rather than having this, which kind of spooks me every time I run along it, I should just put a big staircase. Like, rather than having all of this, I could just have a staircase that goes right down here, over to that, I think. I think that would be the better way of doing it than whatever this is. Yeah, let's make a new staircase out of these blocks. I think that would be good for me in general. In my childhood, I got into fishing because of my grandfather. Yeah, exactly. See, Chantal, you, my point is proven right at the get-go. In my childhood, but yeah, having two dads and a mum seems cool. Like, I think that genuinely, a lot of people like imagine how terrible it is to have like, you know, two mums or two dads or whatever. You know, maybe when they're trying to like criticize lifestyles, and even though there's like a lot of like easy evidence of how dominant and clearly better, you know, if we assume that there are differences between you know, like genders traditionally, if we assume there are any, like how much better it is to have like, in the same way it's better if you're gonna have like two things for dinner that they both not be chips, right? You ever go to Nando's, they offer you two sides. You can get chips and chips, but you're probably gonna get more nutritional balance if you go for like chips and some, or you go for like peas and some rice or whatever. Anyway, leaving that aside, I think a lot of people like can point very easily to the idea that there's like traditional benefit in like mixed gender couples raising kids or whatever. But I think I'm gonna make two boats now. I'm gonna take those with me, and those are gonna be my boats for this test while we do it. But yeah, I think that even though like that's easy to point out, I think that genuinely just having more love must be better, right? I bet if you have like 7 parents raising a child, I think this is a BoJack joke, but I think 7 parents raising a child, it doesn't matter like what's going on in their private life. I bet as long as they all do genuinely want the child to love it, I think if you have 2 dads that both want to be the best dad, that's good, right? You know, like competition. Everyone's praising competition when it's, you know, businesses competing to sell you cheap ice cream. We should also want competition in your parenting. That's something I would go very strongly on. So, okay, the igloo house is actually 4 blocks tall after going 1 block in. So that's something I have to keep in mind. It kind of goes up and then it goes up some more. So I'm now going to go back out to the outside after going 1 block up here, which I have now done. And so that can go all the way to the inside to like here, let's just say. So after going 1 block up, actually what is this doing here? I don't know what this is doing here. But after going up to there, which is as tall as we've decided it should. Yeah, I'm guessing it's 5 blocks or less. So if this is the roof here, and then we're going 5 blocks above that roof over here. And so 2, 3, 4, 5. But then it seems like we're going even taller over there. So I'll trust what past me has done and hope that that's not a horrible mistake. So then we'll also have that go over there. Have the igloo basement coming out of it. And then we're going to have another step up layer for the very, very top of the igloo, which is like 3 by 3. So that step up layer will go from there, from like here, forwards a bunch. And then that'll be the really easy thing for me to fall down onto if I need it. So this is the big thing that should come first. But again, first let's make sure we have the right choices for layers. So layer 1 and layer 2 are about 4 blocks apart. 1, 2, 3 logs. Yeah, 1, 2, 3 logs, then a 4th one of these. Whereas layer 4 here is 1, 2, 3. It should be a block lower than it is right now, I think. I think I've accidentally placed all these too high in the air. But that's okay, that's fixable. We just have to place some more of this. And then place everything 1 block lower down. Easy to do if we use Silk Touch, right? Nope, can't do that. Do we have to use... Okay, it's a pain, but we can do it. And then once we've picked this, we then have to pick the next layer up, which goes to there, 4 blocks above this. And then we just place blocks all around, and we're good. Easy peasy. Why is the bee over here? You know, why does the bee have to be anywhere? That's the question you should be asking yourself. But yeah, he gets to choose where he bees. Okay, so... Yeah, I think to make this look less ugly, I think that's why I chose this as being the block layer. Because then we can, like, fill this in from above, so you can still see the wood being on a different layer. I think it's like an aesthetic choice I made. So I'll vaguely stick with that. And now by just having, like, crisscross grids, we don't have to worry about light not getting in, but we will stop most of the snow from not getting in, which is great. So we'll do the same over here. Just snow all the way along. And yeah, it's like a nice little fun task to distract me while I wait for my ice to slowly form. Definitely a sign that I need more ice, don't get me wrong. But it's a nice little filler activity, don't you think? Yeah, I think I'm gonna need more ice on the other side of that fence. I knew in my heart I would at the time, but you always hope, chat. Maybe me. You always hope that what you're up to is as good as it ever is gonna need to be. So you know, like when you're doing work, you know, that's the thing about the obligation. Making more ice is an obligation. I want to place the ice. I want to ride on the ice. I don't want to, you know, actually place it though. That sounds like a great deal of work. So now I'm going to get on the other side of this fence. It's kind of spooky to do, actually, but let's break this block. Okay, no, okay, place that there. Then we're going to place 2 more of these out. I'm going to need more than 2, but again, I'm doing this 1 block at a time, hoping that lazy me wins this war. We go 2 blocks out, because that's as many spruce fences as I have. And if we just move the spruce fences 2 blocks further back, a lot of our problems should and might go away. I can hope. But yeah, look at this. Everyone was saying, like, you should get rid of this toy cat. It's dangerous. Look at this. It's actually helping me right now. Helping me to come back in and do my good stuff. Is toy cat our dad, says Jonathan King. You know, internet, am I anyone's dad? You know, I think I might have been a bit offended by this before. I think, though, like... Genuinely, I think that, you know, if we are in a way, if there's people competing, you know, for your love, that's good. I don't think I can necessarily be that. I think I can be, hopefully, a good uncle to some number of you. I hope that, you know, by talking about how responsibility is the thing that everyone hates, myself included, but yet is one of the things that correlates best to being happy. I hope that even by planting that seed in your brain, even if you don't think about it for 5 years, and make your life slightly more bearable in some other unexpected way. So yeah, to make the inside of this look more like the inside of an igloo, we have to think about what's on the inside of an igloo. There's a brewing stand in a corner over there, so I think we want to make that into a big table. Yeah, I'm definitely thinking we sort of do have a table back there right now, but I'm thinking we want to make it more table-y. So how do we make this table back here? I guess we could just make it into a literal giant table. That might be fun. So I'm going to look up igloo interior real quick. Igloo interior Minecraft. Oh, so loads of people have made houses from it. That's cute. I'm just trying to find what it looks like by default, though. Okay, so the default igloo interior. Oh, we're making the top, so there's no steps or anything. There's just meant to be a giant bed over there. So actually, that means that we should make this... We should move all of our beds to there. I can now buy... Or I can... Oh, man, there's so many cats. They're going to have to die. I can get all of the stone down to actually finish that part. So that's going to be pretty crucial, I would say. So in goes this... yeah, let's smelt up some stone. I think I have a ton of cobblestone. 1 stack should get me to a pretty decent place, right? So let's do that. Let's smelt it up. Yeah. What am I going to smelt it with, chat? I'm sure there's a mathematically best way to do it. And it's probably actually slabs. I'm fairly sure it is slabs that'll do it. So spruce slabs, bring them out. Throw them in there. Feels wasteful, isn't wasteful. Then we'll take the stone to the stone cutter. I do have one of those over here. No, that's a different thing. This is the stone cutter. And we'll just make a bunch of stone bricks. And we can start, slowly but surely, placing in the middle blocks for our pattern. Because our chisel bricks we can get from our own trader, but this can come from there. And then we'll just put all of the beds down, and boom, easy peasy. So I'm going to start with these blocks, because these, I know I can never fall down there, chat, but it makes me uncomfortable to look at it anyway. So we'll start with these. Easy. Go, oh, maybe I should make them out of slabs, actually. Yeah, there's no reason not to, right? Besides water placement. If I fall down, and it's fine, I'll make slabs. If I ever fall, if I do die from that, it would be very funny. That simply trying to save resources is what does it to me. Also, you should tame your brethren. I don't know what I would do with a bunch of tamed cats. I think I would do as much with the cats if they were tamed as I do with them now that they are untamed. Which is to say, literally nothing, and maybe even slightly less than nothing. So, more stone bricks. More stone slabs. You're not our dad, we your wives. You're not, Polly E. I don't know if you're familiar with the verbiage that is used in the consummation of marriages these days. That cat has nothing to do with me. He's probably going to survive the fall even. I don't know if you're familiar with how people, you know, do it these days, but I believe it is quite common for there to be overlap between those two roles. And so I can be both, internet. Also, your video's out now. Hey, awesome. Chat, if you're thinking to yourself, wow, I hate watching ToyCat live. I wish he would get to the point and then finish in between 12 to 15 minutes. Then good news for you. There's a new video out right now, and you can watch it if you feel like it. You can also not watch it. You could also choose to never watch it. And there's lots of other options in between that I should remind you are your choices too. So I'm going to keep these honey bottles out and open, because I'm sure that that's going to be repollinated really soon. I'm just making that bet, chat. And so now we can fill in some of these gaps. I should technically get rid of some of what I've done over there, but I'm not going to. I'm going to leave it as a reminder to what I came to. I'm going to tame at least one of the cats, though, I think. I think that would be a good idea. So I'm going to be very, very cautious around here, chat. But if I am cautious, I should be rewarded. Okay, you can run away from me all you like. That's okay. Then we'll place stone bricks along there. And stone bricks along here. And we just need a few more of these. And we'd be good to go. Chat, I think we can open up a whole new area of the base today. I've been living in this weird little corner forever. But I can finally fix it. Stop that now. Okay, so let's grab all of these. Now I've got 9 spruce fences. I'm gonna go ahead and get a 10th over here, and then that means I can push back my ice farm another 5 blocks, which is probably gonna be more effective for what I need from it. So here we go, chat. Slowly but surely, I am doing the thing. I'm doing the equivalent of eating broccoli. I know it's good for me, but I just can't bring myself to do it. And so now if this is 2 blocks out, we go 3, 4, 5. It's super scary. 3, 4, 5. And this is where the fences are meant to go in the future. I don't like standing here, chat. It brings me a lot of anxiety. Again, I'm 151 days into a hardcore world. It can't be stressed for me with my playstyle, how ridiculous that is. Especially given this is a world where, like, you know, right? Like, I can be playing on a flat world where I've got infinite resources, and I'm gonna do something dumb, right? That is, such is my playstyle. And yet here I am in a world with every opportunity to fool, and I've managed not to do it. I've managed not to do it. The cat looks like my cat George. Oh, I've got a friend named George. Are they the same person, maybe? We should, like, get a DNA test done, just to be sure. Okay, so let's mine some of this. Let's definitely mine some of that. I'm picking up as many pieces of easy ice as I can right now. Because, again, otherwise we're wasting possible ice. But I just want to make sure I'm getting all of. It's important. Well, it isn't exactly your first attempt of it, if I recall correctly. I think it is. Oh, no. I remember I started this on Christmas. Yeah, okay. It was a good time. I forgot that I started the series on Christmas Day. Thank you for reminding me, Chilius Bean. You know, you tried to bring me down, but you brought me up. Yeah, how about that? Okay, so now we place a bunch of those over there. Okay, a little spooky, but we good. We very good. And then we have to place some more blocks over here, obviously. That's okay too. And then I think we're probably good enough to just say screw it and start breaking this. But I still won't yet do it. I'll go and get the oak blocks first. Recklessness is a style. Recklessness never goes out of style. It's always in style. What happened to self-censorship, says Xavier Antonio. Oh, I had something really important to say, and then I realized it would be a bad idea, and I decided not to say it. Okay, copper is in fact out. Okay, so now the void flat preset's out. When are you doing void hardcore? I think I would love to do void hardcore. I think the truth is it isn't like this series is already quite slow for a lot of people. But think about how speedy we've moved. It's 150 days. I've got diamond gear. I'm currently working on it. It's not like instant or anything, but I'm getting towards having a diamond sword, which is my last piece of missing thing. And then I think I need a diamond shovel after that, to be fair. So like, but actually, yeah, I don't have a diamond shovel. Which, to be fair, it would help me quite a bit to have a diamond shovel. So we'll have to go for another smithing table. But yeah, I've made pretty fast progress on this. Void flat is a whole nother beast. If by day 100 I have a tree, then I have done pretty well for myself. You know, like it's really, really ludicrous when you dive into the requirements of it. And again, that's what makes me love it, to be clear. But I think we also have to concede it is ludicrous in its own way. Okay, so I'm going to get some more oak logs. These are my last ones now, so I should start, I don't know, chopping down this tree to go with it too. I have to concede. We need more logs than we have. There we go. And, yeah, there we go, 40 of these. Let's get it done. I saw the new video notification. Hey, awesome. Also, thank you, Not Charming Bow. Let me read. Not Charming... What is the name? Not Charming Box 20. Oh, no, I've just moved something I shouldn't have. Okay, Not Charming Box 20. I haven't watched your streams in a while. What is SkyGloo? So get this, Not Charming Box 20. There is a seed where you spawn on an igloo floating in the sky. And so the only way to survive is to jump right down and find a body of water that will survive, that you can do it in. And so this is hardcore Minecraft, where without jumping down, without going below the cloud layer, which is Y200, I think it's like Y198, but without going below the clouds, which we've simplified down to Y200, I have managed to get all of the things you see right here. I've managed to build myself a little floating village. I've managed a lot of different things. Okay, I've got to be very, very cautious. And yeah, my basic goal is to see how far I can push this. And my current next big, huge endeavor that I need to go on is I need to get my hands, quite seriously, I need to get my hands on some lava so I can make a nether portal. Well, rather, I need to get my hands on some lava so I can make a lava farm so I can make a nether portal if you want to, like, you want to get really technical with it. Also, I didn't realize how many extra fences I would need because I am out, apparently. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, we just put blocks over there for now. But that also means we have to put more torches on these fences, so let's just place those down now, all along the edges. And now, let's go break all of these blocks. Oh, look how many. No, don't make me lose the ice. Look how many ice blocks we just got. It's incredible. Right now, I'm working on a blue ice part. Okay, so it can fall off the edges. It is important for me to stop that from happening. But look how many ice blocks I just picked up. And as long as it doesn't fall over the edge. Oh, no, no, chat. So much ice. Okay, so as long as it doesn't fall over the edge, we've just proven it very much will. Okay, so sit here. Don't let it push me. Then put an ice block there. Break it. Water. Ice block there. Break it. Water. Do the same here. And if we do this enough times, we have a big sheet of water, which can turn into a big sheet of ice. I've just lost that ice permanently, but it's okay. Look how much water I have now. This will fulfill my ice needs. I certainly hope. Good luck, buddy. Thank you very much. Hey, Wandering Trader. The Wandering Trader is what I truly need for this challenge to go well. Every single day, I want to buy as many things from him as I can. The Wandering Trader has all the goodies. If he trades me a slime block... No, don't walk off the edge. If he trades me a slime block right now, or a slime ball, I'm in the money, chat. He's got moss. That's valuable. I think I'll take a couple moss. He's got dark oak logs, and I think I always just want to buy the max of these. It's just logical too. Oak saplings I won't buy. Cornflowers I think I do want. An invisibility potion. I think that's like quite a niche one. I can probably get drowns up here if I want to. In fact, I should maybe work on doing that as a way of getting copper. Yeah, copper will never spawn at this height, and as of the next drop, I'm going to actually want copper. So we'll make our own drown farm, and that's everything we need from him. Now we can lead him to the exit, or we can not. It's up to him. But for now, let's go to sleep. We had a great one. The llamas were killing them last stream. Has that improved? I mean, it seems like it has, right? Let's give credit to 121.100, the update that came out this week. It seemingly has fixed that. Except there's no way to get allies. No way would be strong. It's really, really tricky, but I bet it is doable. Okay, so before we go out and place our ice, I'm going to quickly buy from... I mean, I'll buy a couple of swords from the weaponsmith, just to get rid of this. I'm going to have so many of these by the time I'm done. It's a problem. Then I'm going to go to the stonesmith, or the stonemason, and I'm going to buy these blocks. You get 4 chisel stone for an emerald. It's a good enough deal in the sense that it doesn't require stone, which is in very short supply. And so we'll place them down here, there, and there. And just, it makes the whole place a little bit more secure and feel less like it's about to fall down any minute. When do you use the invisibility potion? Yeah, I know, right? Like, when would I? But the other side of the equation is like, wouldn't it be cool? Yeah, I hope you see my struggle. At least a little bit there. So if we got all of these placed that we'll need to, I think amazingly we have, yeah. And then that means we can place these away, assuming I don't have some chilling in there already. I had 41 chilling on there already. I didn't buy any of those. Then we'll take the stone bricks we've got, combine it with these stones, and just make so many slabs. Oh, we don't even need... I think literally these stone blocks alone would do it. But I'll put them back. I'll make a pile, like half of them into stone, half of that into slabs, and then, chat, that should be me good for actually finishing the inside of my base. I know this is incredible to say from the man who does not do building, who plays chaotically and... Oh, there's so much water falling off the edge there. That's something that needs to be fixed. But no, chat, I'm not getting sidetracked. I am finishing a project right here, right now, in the SkyGloo world. You can see the floor is complete. I no longer need these fences. Because get this, right? The fences no longer are required to keep the whole thing from falling apart. Yeah, no more. I've got so much floor space now. And then I can take these beds and I can move them into that floor space. Super cool. But yeah, I don't really need this guy to be alive. But I'll let him live for a little while longer. And then I'll also put some snowballs away. Put that cornflower away. That's the last item I can store. And, yeah, bottles. No, I need to use the bottles to get these milked. Get my bees milked. And that is the last honey I need. Chat, it is just now the slime blocks that are stopping me from reaching my dreams. So, wait. Oh, they're in 2 different stacks for some reason. Honey block obtained. Glass bottles put away. And if we go in here, yeah, that's 6 honey blocks. We are amazingly pulling this together. Do you think it'd be a good or a bad change to make spawn eggs craftable? Probably using a rare material like netherite. I used to be a big proponent for the idea that you should be able to, And I still kind of believe this a little bit. But I think you should be able to use Silk Touch to pick up a mob as a spawn egg. If it works for glass, right? Silk Touch doesn't make any sense in the context of glass. But yet they say, yeah, you can pick it up anyway because it's the logic we've decided on. Surely the logic could also dictate that it's totally fine to Silk Touch up a mob. It makes just as much sense as anything else. I think I should raise this up a level to make it look like a giant bed. And maybe even dye them all red. I think that'd be a good long-term ambition. To make it look a bit more like a big igloo. Which is the goal, right? The big glue, if you will. Anyway, yeah, chat. I decided to not share my ability. No, I think that self-censorship is something that like more people should think about. Like, is to say, it's really, really easy. I had this little moment. I think it's really easy. So day chat for lunch. Let me not self-censor for a minute. But today for lunch, I got a credit card. If you know your credit cards, you know which one I'm talking about. But I had a credit card that I want to cancel to get the fee that I got for applying for it back, because I got the credit card gives you a bunch of points which are worth real money, and then you can cancel the card and you get the money that you pay for it back. Basically, it's I think the word for it is churning. Maybe it's I think churning is the technical word, and it's a really great way if you like points and you like if you like flying places but you don't like paying for going places, which makes it sound like you're committing fraud or something. And just to clarify, fraud is bad. But credit cards make so much money. But I feel like it's entirely built into their model that some number of people get to fly places for free. Could you argue that you're actually complicit in an economic system which then like takes money from people with less so that you can is that in effect an act of robbery from interest payers to me? Maybe, but I won't think about that too hard. But what I will think about hard, okay, so I'm going to be very careful about picking up this ice. Definitely need to put some more wood down there. But yeah, we got so much of it now that my ice pathway will go a lot further and I can actually place down my boats. You should off the Wandering Traders so the next one comes quicker. He doesn't actually seem to. On Bedrock, you can have multiple Wandering Traders. I do like killing them for fun, but it's not a necessity. It's it's like if you want to do it, you can do it sort of deal. So yeah, I'm gonna make a staircase here, by the way, when I come back from this. But for now, I just want to make sure that this actually goes further than it has previously. Let's put a boat down, and then let's quickly get in the boat and then get out of the boat. Now the boat technically says it sits at Y200, even though it's at Y201, as measured by humans, but that's okay. Is that a dead mob? Oh, chat, that is what is it? It's rotten flesh, right? That implies that a skeleton's, a zombie spawned on here, which is really, really bad news. If this is spawning mobs, I should not be making the pathway out of ice. It will one day come to kill me. Unless I can place, like... No, it's going to be a mess to light up otherwise. I can do it, but it's... I'm making a convenience sacrifice, or a convenience choice right now, chat. One day I will come to regret it. That day is just not today. Okay, so let's place out our ice as far as it lets us go right now. Just so we can see the sort of scale that we're working with. And also see what's in this direction. We haven't looked that way, as far as I know, ever. Let's give it a look. Maybe a mob fell into it. Oh, if we're really lucky, actually, a mob just fell onto it. Yeah, I make it a problem for future you. Hey, Shake, you understand my philosophy perfectly. Yeah, I went out for afternoon tea today, chat. It was good. It was at a place with I think 3 Michelin stars, which honestly I think it's really dumb that we take the tire company's words for where is a good place to eat. Like if you were gonna ask, oh yeah, where should I get my car's tires replaced? You wouldn't go to a restaurateur and say, oi mate, or you wouldn't ask the head chef at McDonald's, like, Wait, mate, you know where I could get my some new tires for my car? I want to make sure it doesn't aquaplane in the winter. You wouldn't have that conversation. So why would you have it in reverse? But yeah, that's the idea of Michelin. So I went to a very, very fancy place today. If you want to see the place, I posted a clip on Twitter of the bathroom situation. You know I love me a fancy bathroom. And again, there's like, in my mind, there's like a spectrum of how fancy things can be. Basically, depending on how much you're willing to pay for it. You know, there's like, I think there's like the cheapest thing you can get. You know, cheapest wine, cheapest toilet, cheapest bread, and it's the bare minimum you can do to technically be called that category. It's not to say it's bad. If you like, I think the cheapest pasta you can get is the best pasta personally, but it is like doing the bare minimum, right? Then there's like second cheapest, which is that, but you spend a bit more, so it has something that's a bit better. Then there's like mid-end, which in theory is meant to be the best value. That is to say, you could spend double as much, but it wouldn't be double as good. Whereas I would argue from the cheapest to the mid-end, it's often... Like, if you think about graphics cards, you get more than double the performance. If you think about... shoes, the cheapest shoes... The mid-end shoes will last a lot longer than the cheapest shoes you buy from Temu. My friend has shoes... My friend has gotten really into buying on Temu. I've got one friend... who's really, really, really deep into Temu. And he's got shoes from Temu that say fashion sport, and they cost him, you know, £11 or something. And he's really happy with that. But also, it's like quite a known thing that like really cheap clothes degrade quickly. So it's really, really good for situations where you don't need, you know, like quality, or where you don't care about the end quality. But like if you spend £22 on shoes, they probably last more than twice as long. Probably going to be more comfy for the duration. There's a famous Hitchhiker Guide to the Galaxy quote from one of the characters about how if you spend more money on shoes, you spend less money on shoes. So then there's the next tier up, which is like high-end premium. But then there's a level past that where it's like, this is kind of silly. There's a certain amount of money you spend on something where you're making a statement. And so I would say, like, you know, if you think about toilets, the cheapest toilet is a porta potty. If you need to technically, if you have a location where you know people are going to need to use the restroom, the cheapest toilet is someone else's toilet. But, like, the real cheapest toilet is a porta potty. But a lot of people don't like porta potties. They technically do the job, but for a lot of people it feels like, well, not really. So then there's the next level up, which is like, okay, it's your bog standard, it's got a door, it opens and shuts, and it locks. And there's toilet paper in there, and it's actually plumbed into the system. It's more expensive, but it's worth it. Again, I think people get more than twice as much joy from a regular toilet than a porta potty. Sue me if you disagree. Okay, so I've got another cactus flower now, by the way, chat. I don't know what I'm going to do with all these cactus flowers, but I'm excited to imagine for now. So in here this goes, and in here this goes. What? Yeah, I've got some fun plans brewing eventually there, clearly. Then we'll put this away and that away, and maybe in the rotten flesh away. Future me can get great value from this rotten flesh, chat. He really can. Buy it nice or buy it twice. There are some items though where you actually do want to buy it twice. If you're in a category you genuinely don't know, you should buy twice so you can experience twice as much of the market. There are a lot of things where I think people are a little scared. You know, I think that is the best way to put it, actually. I think there's lots of things where people are genuinely scared of going below a certain point. You know, because they're like, ooh, yeah, I've heard things get bad. So by the way, let's just move these beds to the same little corner of the house over here. Yeah, or even just like if they go here. You know, it's still better than where they were, I think. Just pile them in the corner. Future me can do something with that. And now I've got all this floor space, all this room for activities that I also have to cover in torches. There was not space for these torches before, but now there is, and so they must be placed. Boom, that should prevent mobs from spawning in most of these places. The cactus piles are future use problem. Exactly. You're understanding it perfectly. A porta potty is just a manual storage system for human waste, and the toilet's automated. Therefore, plumbing is redstone. Change my mind. Oh, yeah, that's a good thought, Robin Brooks. My intellectual brain wants to respond to you, but my caveman brain goes, ooh, get water. You talk much. You say many words, but not get much meaning. So yeah, speaking contrarian, I think porta potties are amazing. I think I am quite a sensitive bathroom user in that I would much prefer use a real bathroom than a porta potty, like by such a wide margin. I feel like it's one of my most like premium desires, is bathrooms. Where again, I feel like the cheapest pasta or the cheapest rice, you'll never notice a difference. You can notice a difference between like types of rice, so like long grain rice, that gets me going. But there's a lot of product categories where genuinely there's just no difference between you, or no difference to your tastes. And there's a lot of categories where you're really sensitive to things. And so one of my favorite examples for something where quite a lot of people are so if I didn't know I liked the cheapest pasta, if I was just getting into the pasta game today, if I'd never heard of pasta, but my good Italian friends made me some once, and they're like, ooh, babadabibdo, you gotta make some of this at home, here's the recipe. Actually, I have a Mexican editor, and he said he was just having eggs and green salsa for breakfast, and I was like, oh, you know what, you should send me a recipe for that, like, because I was surprised that he made it rather than bought it, and he's like, here are the ingredients you're gonna need, etc., etc. I think he sent me a recipe. I'll have to look at some point. But what's interesting is, okay, grab some of this. I like running water to wash hands. Oh, my most controversial take is when you're in a public bathroom, washing your hands makes me feel less clean. Like, I understand needing to do it performatively speaking. I would much rather have a little automatic hand sanitizer. I feel like the alcohol, can't be messed with. But like touching a tap that people have touched with their freshly pooped on hands, and then they don't clean the tap when they're done, right? So you're actively getting a bunch of germs on, and then just hoping you get them off. It's like, I would rather have the potential for my own poop germs than to touch thousands of others, plus all the stuff in the air that has settled on this tap, and then try to get that off. Because even then, you don't touch the handle on the door when you get out of there, right? Like, I hate it all, chat. I hate a lot of bathrooms, but in particular that one. Also, have you heard of automatic sinks? I have in fact heard of. No, I don't think I have heard of automatic sinks. That sounds ridiculous. Now that I'm hearing it, and I'm really thinking about it, that sounds very ridiculous. So, should we combine these fishing rods together yet, or do we have to make a few more of them? I think I should just start unbreaking lure 1. How many fishing rods? Oh, it's 22 emeralds. That's why I haven't done it. Okay, so let's put away my pile of this. I'm slowly collecting all the woods, which is very nice. I think I should do the woods in this one here, though. So my wood collection, lovely though it may be, is going to move into here. So I've got pale oak, I've got cherry, I've got jungle, I've got dark oak. It's all happening here. And now we can grab some of these spruce logs and use them to make my boats, which is still sustaining the entire Emerald Empire here, chat. The entire thing exists off the back of these. +1 phobia, thanks. Oh, so much of the world operates on the fact that you're just not meant to think about stuff. Might as well not wash your hands with that logic. I mean, what I would like, right, is I would like for there to be a way to wash my hands without having to touch things. That's what I want. I'm barely okay with the fact that we all use the same toilet paper, or even the same toilet seat. Chat, I have such a, let's see. This is a bad part of my human personality. I think if you like to hear my thoughts on contrarianism or self-censorship or whatever, you might get something interesting from me. But when it comes to I think if I'm just talking about things I don't like, I'm just going to make people feel bad ways. No one's going to end up feeling a good way. We're all going to be worse off from the conversation. So I'm going to choose to not... up in the price on me. Okay, I can wait for it to come down. I'm not paying 13 emeralds for this garbage. I might buy a few more bookshelves from this guy. I could see that giving me some value. No, not at that price. It gets me books, right? And I can use books to make these things, which I can then use to make librarians, which I can then use to get decent enchantments. So there is some value in that. Yeah, I think I definitely want another villager. This guy doesn't have a job yet. I'll turn him into something good. So let's grab it. Let's now turn this into a lectern. And let's use the lectern to make him something special. So I have a guy back here too. What is your current profession, friend? The librarian back there has silk touch. No, it's the same guy. So what do you do? What is your value that you are bringing? Why is it such a... Okay, so if I go over here. Oh, the lectern has such a dumb hitbox. If I break this block, will he be able to get out? He shouldn't be able to. Okay, he can't. Perfect. So I've got a way round. He does nothing right now, which means if I can find his lectern and reliably break it, I should be good. So was that him? That wasn't him, it was this guy. So I have to break the other guy's lectern over and over again. But if I move that lectern, this guy can get out of his base. So I then need to also place a double slab here. Like all the way around this. This is complicated stuff, chat. Then place a slab there, and then remove this block. And now I'm safe to remove this guy's top. Except if I do that, this guy can get out. Yeah, this whole thing is set up very suboptimally, to say the least. Okay, so I'll just work on a different villager. This is guy number 3. Let's remove that block there. Doesn't seem very necessary to me, so I'll climb in here, remove that block there, and put one of these in its place. Then he can become a librarian, and then we can break this over and over again until he becomes a good librarian. And I should be able to walk all the way around there, thanks to these blocks. Yeah, and then we can just do it from the back. Nice. Easy peasy. So yeah, chat, I think one of the most important skills that is actually the hardest to learn is when not to say something. You know, like like I said, I went to a very fancy place today, and I had a lot of thoughts while I was there. But one of them was like, honestly, not everyone in your life needs to hear about this. Like, I think that there are lots of people whose life is made worse by hearing that your life is going well. That's like the dumbest example of like how sometimes actually it's better for both you and your intended audience if you're not okay, so it's I think okay, no, it's definitely the right guy. I think there are times where it's better. Okay, Curse of Vanishing, chat. I know I need a better enchantment than that. I've got to go for one that I can maybe use. I would love Mending at this point, chat, but I'll take something less valuable if it comes along. But is it like Efficiency? Do I need that on my axe? That would be great, but not at level 2. I think go for it. So let's sell some more boats for the day. Boats, and we'll be good. Bucky's bathrooms, though. Oh yeah, so that's an interesting example, right? Of like they decided to go for the best possible reasonable bathroom. They've got high stool doors. They're really clean. You've got to think about like how many people must go into a bathroom and destroy it if it's Texas. But every time you go into it, it's clean. That means you have to spend a lot of time, like a lot of man hours are wasted having someone check each of those stools on a very regular basis. Which is kind of nuts, right? My sister uses gardening gloves to use the flush. Oh, but then that means the gardening gloves are gross now. There's just if you really think about it, you're just gonna break. There's a lot of things in life that just rely on people not thinking about them. So hotels, I'm sorry to do this to people. You know, I just said I wouldn't, but you've done this to me, Sizoxy. Hotels just rely on you knowing that, like, oh yeah, the bed gets cleaned between each use, but not the hard furnishings like pillows and rugs and stuff like that. Like, high-use surfaces are cleaned, but not everything is a high-use surface that gets used a lot, you know? You stay in enough hotel rooms, you do something weird in a hotel room once, and you're like, oh yeah, they're never gonna know that that's there. I'm not gonna tell them. It would be extra weird if I were to tell them that there was a thing of that description there. But it's there now, and until someone notices it to clean it, it's gonna be there, in perpetuity. That's a nice price for a Protection 4 book. Yeah, is good armor something that I value? The answer seemingly should be yes. But, like, how often am I gonna die to it? Whereas mending is, like, a real bonus. Protection 4 is, like, audio's cutting in and out. Oh, really? Let me listen back to the stream. Like, how often am I gonna die to it? Whereas mending is, like, a real bonus. Protection 4 is, like, audio's cutting in and out. Okay, refresh YouTube. Okay, refresh YouTube. It's happened before. It's kind of wild. It's like both my most and my least favorite thing to say, right? Is someone else's problem. Or in this case, YouTube's problem, right? But it also is a bit like, well, I can't help you. You know, if I could just do something and fix it, that'd be great. But I can't. So yeah, can someone say in chat? Can people say in chat to refresh? Because people aren't going to hear me saying it if my audio is cutting in and out. Let everyone know that you've got to refresh if you want to actually be able to hear the stream. If you don't like hearing the stream, if you're just here for the vibes, that's cool too. But yeah, like there's an interesting example where, like, sometimes saying that something is going well in your life actually is kind of going to make people for whom things aren't going well in their life feel worse, you know? So there are, like, times to work out when it is appropriate to say things like that for whom, you know, like, people who want to see you succeed, who you should want a lot of, by the way. I think, how many people should you want in your life who actively aren't that pleased with your success is a question I will leave up to you. Okay, so this is now emptied, and this has the piles and go into it. Okay, so we're starting to build up a nice supply, but I'm going to want like 10 or 15 stacks before I really go. Okay, so now we can buy more swords. We have to be very careful with the number of swords we buy each time. 3 is the max, and by buying 3, we've now cut ourselves out of stuff. But it is worth doing. It takes up a lot of emeralds, but we're going to get ourselves that diamond sword we crave. And then we're also going to make another toolsmith. I think that's what my next villager should actually be. Oh, this is fire protection. Someone said protection, and I was like, oh, maybe. Fire protection? No. So I'm going to take away this, and I'm going to replace it with a iron pan. So how much iron do I have? I hope a lot. Chat, where do I keep my iron? Oh, it's on my inventory. Okay, so let's take some wood. Let's make one of these. Hopefully it uses the wood I have the most of and not the alphabetical order. So I'll actually drop this on the ground first, then smithing table. Okay, now put the smithing table down where that block is there. So I went through all this effort to make sure it was accessible, but it's fine. And so smithing table would be good for... It's definitely the toolsmith, right? Yeah, it's the toolsmith. I need a second toolsmith, and I need to roll the dice on him being a toolsmith that will actually give me access to an enchanted shovel. You can't see at the early levels whether he's going to sell an enchanted shovel or not later. So I buy a bunch of stone pickaxes that I literally just throw on the ground. Oh, and then we have to sell iron, or we have to buy more. Oh, we are so screwed. Yeah, getting another shovel is a pain, but at least we can know that one's available if we do this. We waste 11 diamonds, 11 emeralds now, and then we have the security of knowing in the future. Let's do it. Oh, no. Okay, wait. That's nothing, though, right? The next level, it wouldn't be anything until... Wait, the next level's meant to be a diamond tool. And then there's another diamond tool. So the fact that it's an iron tool means we really got screwed there, right? Yeah, what am I going to do with an enchanted iron? Ugh, whatever. We could just go for another toolsmith at this point. But yeah, I'm just going to get rid of these. Is this the most efficient... Oh, wait, they're not actually getting destroyed. Is this the most efficient thing to do? Nope. But will I ever need these again? Also, nope. Chat, I'm making a bold decision, not making it future me's problem, by getting rid of my stone pickaxes right here, right now, forever. Oh, that feels good. Then I can pick up my emeralds, and I can get some more emeralds. Let's go. Boat time. It's always boat time. So, yeah, refreshing the stream worked. Thank you for saying you should refresh it. I also had a very creepy long handshake with Jimmy Savile in one hotel. The stories I could tell. Oh, that is fun. It makes sense that, like, enough average people deal with, like, even the most infamous of celebrities. But it still is interesting to me. It still is really interesting to me that, like, oh yeah, normal people interact. I guess, yeah, I guess it shouldn't be that strange. But it is strange, chat. I find it objectively massively fascinating. So I think I want another armor smith too, because I need a chest plate. I'd also like some leggings that aren't just made from chainmail. But yeah, getting actual protection isn't that important to me. But what is important to me is getting more villagers, I would say. Oh, so wait, is someone just left? No, they're there together. I think I still want more villagers, so I should still make more beds until I've, like, filled out this whole thing. Because I need at least one more armor smith, probably another toolsmith at this rate, a couple more, and a few more enchanty guys. So should I just get the people ready? No, let's not. I was hoping by the end of today we'd be able to say that we get ourselves up to this next level, but I think we're going to be just able to see the diamond sword, not able to do it. I used to ignore wonder creators in my long-term world, but ever since the update, I found it to be a great source for restocking my wood and random block reservoirs. Yeah, I think, what do you call that? Like the lost leader strategy? I think them using that model has been great. I think, I'm glad that the wandering traders are willing to go lost leader on things. I think that is a really, really great improvement for Minecraft. Okay, so I shouldn't have put that down. It's clearly activated someone that it shouldn't have. But, yeah, today we've made some really great progress, chat. Admittedly, I could just be in the jungle right now. But by instead focusing on building an ice pathway there, I'll be able to actually get quickly to and from the jungle and whatever we set up. Which means we can use it for all sorts of things if we want to keep them separated from our base. And if we want to go much further afield, which who knows, eventually of course I'm going to want to, I'll be able to do that too. I have now managed to, I'm proud of this, whether you want to be proud of it is up to you. I have now managed to survive 154 days, and I'm looking forward to seeing how many more we can survive. Also, Fork says, hi, this is my first time watching a stream of yours. Hello, Fork. I hope you've enjoyed watching SkyGloo for the first 154 days. Because now I've got to go check out the Void World. So I did all the stuff. I did what I needed to, chat. And now we get to take a little sneaky peek. Wait, what was Town Project? Do you see that? I'm going to get a little sneaky peek. Create new world. For the first time ever, we can make... Oh, wait, this is the wrong... The template just seems so right. Chat, for the first time, I can now make a void flat. Should we aim to survive on this? The update has just come out to make this possible. Void flat. Let me know what you think. It's fun that they've actually fixed this message so it doesn't say every single warning. This would be the hardest possible survival challenge. Look at the map, by the way. It's like absolutely... Oh, it's not even centered. That's an absolute sin. And also, you can't even see the blocks. You're all the way down here at Y-63, which means if you stand on the wrong corners of this, I think... Do slimes spawn even? I've got a lot of questions. And if you want to see those answers, make sure to come for some future live stream. For now, though, thank you very much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. And I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye!